Yeah, that's a Goomba punching, tearing, and throwing things with hands he doesn't normally have. So this is actually a super early test Nintendo performed right after Super Mario Odyssey finished development, in which they wanted to see if you can make a game based around destruction. And as it turns out, you can, as that was the inspiration for Donkey Kong Bananza, in which he took the arms from this guy at Super Mario Odyssey, slapped onto a Goomba, and then did the test you just saw. And not only did the developers realize that it could be a lot of fun, but they also realized it could be a perfect fit for Donkey Kong and his strength. And that's basically where the idea for Donkey Kong Bananza was born, as explained in a new interview posted by Nintendo with the developers from the game. And it covers a lot of stuff, and I wanted to go over some of the highlights. Now, one of the things was, in order to bring this type of gameplay to life, Nintendo realized that they were going to have to work with voxels, which are basically 3D pixels. And the fun thing about this isn't the first time they've worked with them, as we had actually already seen them in Super Mario Odyssey, as a couple of levels took advantage of voxel technology in order to make it more interactive. Now the thing is, as the developers explained, they only started implementing it about halfway through Mario Odyssey's development, so they really weren't able to fully capitalize on it then, which they are now doing in Donkey Kong Bananza. But it is kind of crazy to see an early version of that in a game from 8 years ago. In fact, the game even began development on Nintendo Switch 1 as well, much like Mario Kart World, but it was around 2021 that the developers realized, hey, the upcoming Switch 2 may be a better fit for our game, as it will allow us to do a lot more, including way more interactive objects, more destruction in the environment, and other things too. Nintendo even included a comparison image showing off the graphical fidelity on Nintendo Switch 1 versus Nintendo Switch 2, which is freaking awesome. So this is Switch 1, over there is Switch 2. You can see the amount of added plants and objects and just how much denser the world looks. Although I have to say, it still looks pretty good on Switch 1, so it's pretty impressive all things considered. Now, moving on, Nintendo also actually elaborated on this by stating that with the move to Switch 2, we gain not only more memory, but also greater processing capacity. This gave us a freedom to incorporate gameplay ideas we'd previously abandoned because they were too demanding. When we got down to trying it, we discovered not only could they handle the heavy processing requirements, but also ran at 60 frames per second, up from 30. Things we'd given up on, like explosions flinging large objects or causing them to collapse, were now possible. Designers could place as many objects as they wanted. There were so many moments when we thought to ourselves, now we can really do this. So yeah, it seems like Switch 2 came along at just the right time to make this game even better. Next, the developers went on to explain that they wanted to create a whole new type of world for Donkey Kong to explore. And as part of that, they wanted every layer, or level if you will, to look and feel entirely different. That way the player is constantly being surprised. And looking at the concept art here, I'd say they accomplished that, because not only is this concept art amazing and incredibly varied, but we can already see a lot of resemblance to the final game, like the fruit planet up there with the watermelons, which by the way, they draw special attention to with the watermelons and how the interactions sound and feel with them, so I'm looking forward to more of that. We also have the minecart down here as well, and just a general vibe, of course, is really captured or carried over to the final game. As part of that though, they also touched on this amazing concept art, which the interviewer noted bears resemblance to the original Donkey Kong arcade game and the vibes of Brooklyn, New York. And they asked specifically, how did that come about? So they went on to explain that in Miyamoto's mind, Donkey Kong's world always felt like New York City. When we asked him early on, what is Donkey Kong? He explained that the steel beams and ladders in the original Donkey Kong game were inspired by the neon lights of New York City. Even the star in the O of the logo was inspired by the American aesthetic. He'd go on to state that while the goal was to make the underground world feel entirely different to the surface, they did draw inspiration from Miyamoto's original vision of Donkey Kong by weaving neon colors into the visuals as the key element. We aimed to create something fresh while still evoking the feel of the original arcade game. By the way, the pink and blue neon tones were inspired by the colors of the ladders and steel beams in the original game. So I'm pretty sure we pointed this out ourselves at some point, but they are confirming it, that the neon blue and pink in the logo and elsewhere are directly ripped from the original Donkey Kong arcade game, which is freaking awesome. I love that. Speaking of origins, developers also touched on Donkey Kong's new design in Donkey Kong Bananza, which, as it turns out, influenced other projects that have already come to be, like the Mario movie and his appearance in Mario Kart World, which is kind of crazy. So apparently what happened is they went back and redid DK's basic model, which you can see here on the right, over there, as compared to his appearance in Bananza. And while they were redoing that basic model, not only did they go back to the original Donkey Kong design that Miyamoto created for the original arcade game, but they then decided to update it with elements from Bananza, which again is what influenced his appearance in the Mario movie and in Mario Kart World. They were specifically asked, does that mean that all the recent Donkey Kong designs, including those from the movie and Mario Kart World, have their roots in the original one created by Miyamoto, with elements of Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Bananza added to it? And they reply with, that's correct. Donkey Kong Bananza sparked the creation of a design which I think better conveys a new Donkey Kong. So yeah, this might make some people a little upset because it sounds like this basically is his new design. I mean, again, looking at this image, you can see how similar the basic design is compared to his appearance in DK Bonanza, and it's incredibly similar. I quite like this new design myself, and I say that as one who also quite liked the retro and rare designs. But it does seem like, at least for the time being, this will likely be the new design to stick with for at least some time. And I suspect we won't be seeing the rare and retro design again anytime soon, if really ever again, outside of possibly, remasters or remakes. So that might make some people upset, but we'll have to see how things unfold from here. In any case, those are the highlights to me that stood out from the interview. There's of course even more to which I'll link to in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. It's a good interview, a lot of fun, and insightful insights about Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I can't wait to play more of it myself once it's out here in basically a day or two. So with that, thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for more from us on Donkey Kong Bonanza, including us streaming it tomorrow, and plenty more as well, I'm sure. So with that, we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.